Hey, I'm Amanda from Trifecta Fitness. We're proud to be Clarksville's new Get Fit headquarters. Trifecta Fitness is a state-of-the-art spin and strength training studio. Our spin studio is truly one of a kind in this area, complete with 20 state-of-the-art live fitness bikes and an incredible sound system. Our strength training is done in small groups of 6 or fewer, and all of our strength and spin classes are scalable for every level of experience. Come see us in the heart of Clarksville, just behind MAPCO at the corner of Old Trenton Road and Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. Call us for more info at 931-542-6265 or download our Trifecta Fitness app for a full list of upcoming classes.
Hey, I'm Logan. I'm a sergeant first class in the Army, and I've been lucky enough to secure one of the charity slots provided by the Lifetime Foundation for next year's Leadville 100. In order to do this, I'm looking to raise around $2,800 over the course of the next year to donate to the Lifetime Foundation. A lot of their focus is on youth movement and nutrition and conservation, among other things. And it's a really great cause, and I appreciate any help that you guys could give. And a little bit goes a long way, and it'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
In October 2019, Arlington, Texas was chosen to be the home of a new national museum, unlike any other. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a unique home of military history. The 100,000 square foot museum will house exhibits, archives, and artifacts relating to the 3,500 U.S. troops who have been awarded the medal, the nation's highest honor for valor in combat. The museum will have 31,000 square feet of galleries dedicated to U.S. troops who have received the award. The museum's CEO, former Navy SEAL and NASA astronaut Chris Cassidy, said the museum will focus on education as much as preservation. The building will have 5 areas dedicated to Medal of Honor winners from the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard. The main gallery will be located in a central plaza under a 25,000 square foot slab of steel, which will appear to be suspended in midair. It will be supported by 5 pillars. Black Rifle Coffee is a corporate sponsor of the museum, as are the Dallas Cowboys. The museum's board also includes over a dozen major corporations and 6 Medal of Honor recipients, including David Bellavia, Patrick Brady, and Britt Slabinski. Army Staff Sergeant Bellavia was awarded the medal for clearing an entire house by himself on November 10, 2004, as a squad leader in support of Operation Phantom Fury in Fallujah, Iraq. He killed 4 enemy fighters and wounded a 5th in close quarters battle. Army Major General Brady flew and coordinated the evacuation of 51 seriously wounded men during a firefight in Vietnam in January 1968. Slabinski, a Navy SEAL chief and team leader, led a rescue team of SEALs during Operation Anaconda in Afghanistan in March 2002. Slabinski and his team flew to a mountaintop ambush site to rescue Petty Officer First Class Neil Roberts, who had fallen from the back of a helicopter. Slabinski led the team through almost constant combat against an entrenched Taliban force. Along with the board members, former presidents Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama serve as honorary directors. The museum is expected to open to the public in late 2024.
All right. Welcome back. MisFitNation. The MisFitNation Show. We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience need to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the MisFitNation Show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_MisFitNation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
All right. Welcome back to the MisFitNation Show. It's our Sunday after dinner show. It's our last show in Indiana, hopefully for this year. We'll travel back to Tennessee tomorrow. Thank you for jumping on tonight. I know you have a lot of things you can be doing, and you choose to hang out with us. I know a lot of you are watching NFL on the side of this show, so just keep an ear on us, and we have a great guest tonight, so give her some of that attention while you're also watching your favorite teams play tonight. Before we start, we'll go back to our Officer Down Memorial page. We missed a few over the last week. We'll start with Corporal Brandon Schreiber, Newton County Sheriff's Department, Indiana, and to watch September 11th, 2024. Trooper Enrique Delgado Garcia from Massachusetts State Police, September 13th, 2024. Motor Carrier Officer Daniel Kerstetter, Michigan State Police, and to watch September 15th, 2024. And Deputy Sheriff Josh Phipps, Russell County Sheriff's Office, Kentucky, September 16th, 2024. Let's keep those families, their friends, their peers, and all those who care about them in your thoughts and prayers as they go through this horrible time. Tonight, we have a great guest. She's a high achiever, success coach, dedicated to propelling ambitious individuals to peak performance in both business and life. Committed to mentoring and guiding high achievers, she helps them transform their limits and make bold leaps forward by fostering a culture of confidence and excellence. She assists professionals in harnessing their potential, elevating their aspirations, and achieving profound success. So without further ado, let's welcome Jaclyn Strominger to the MisFitNation Show. Welcome, Jaclyn.
Thank you so much for having me. It is such a pleasure to be on the show. And I just love the intro. And I was like, oh my God, that museum sounds freaking amazing.
Awesome. We had a good little chat in the green room before we came on. And I was pumped up listening to how passionate you were about just having someone give you good customer service. And I'll let you share that with the audience. It was an amazing story. But I also want you to tell this audience a little more about you from as far back as you want to go to how you got into what you do now.
Yeah. So let me tell you. So thanks so much for asking this. I I'm like a lot of other, I guess, moms and people in corporate life. I went to college. Maybe not everybody goes to college, but I started my career in corporate America and was always searching for that mentor, that leader that was going to really help guide me. And I mean, I was doing well and I did well, but there was always this nagging thing that something was missing, and I'm going through life and I'm kind of on the wheel. Right. And then all of a sudden, I get married, I have kids. We moved out of New York City and back to Massachusetts, where I'm from. And I was at this job and I'm working, and one of the girls, one of my coworkers said to another coworker, that's not something that's probably great for your career. And it was like, hit me over the head. Like, oh, my career. I forgot about my career. I had gone from always, I guess, trying to push the needle a little bit, to move up, to get a little better, to, like having a plan as to where I was going, to all of a sudden, I was just going through the motions. And I realized that was like one sort of aha moment. And then it happened again, I'm driving my kids to school. And I'm just like, what am I doing? And it was then that I had these two combined events. I was like, I'm going home. I'm going to write out what I want. I'm going to write out my vision. I'm going to write out what I want to do. At the time, I think I was, 40 something. I'm 56 years old. And I just like, something has to change. We have to do something different. And that was when I just sort of redefined what I wanted. And I did a whole reverse flip on my career. I worked with my husband and my kids, and we decided that we were going to leave the area that we were living in, and we moved across the country, we came out to Reno, Nevada. We explored an opportunity. Within 7 weeks, actually, we were out here starting new school. And I got into, I switched my career, and I realized in that career switch, I loved coaching people. I loved helping people. And that was and it had always been a passion of mine throughout other parts of my career. And so I decided to make it my business 100%. And it has been one of those things that I have never looked back. And I love helping other people be leaders, be their best CEOs of their companies, so that they can create passionate team members and passionate employees. I guess in the grand scheme of the world, if I could wave my magic wand, we would be a nation of great leaders that could lead people, and that great leaders create happy people and happy countries. And think about the ripple effect. If you're a super happy employee, or you're part of a great team, when you go to the grocery store, you go to the coffee shop, and you got a smile on your face because you're loving what you're doing, it becomes exponential. So it's sort of like a roundabout way how I sort of got to where I am now. And I'm really passionate about helping people lead. And my company is Leap to Your Success. And there is the framework that I developed, which is LEAP. And the LEAP stands for leveraging communication, energy, action, and performance. And so I'm a firm believer that a lot of things we could all be a little bit better if we could lead a little bit better and lead by example, right? So anyway, so that's a little bit about me. And then, as we were talking before the show, where this all comes in, it was kind of like comes full circle, is over the weekend, I had to take a plane with my son's really into basketball. And that's a huge thing. Like, a great coach is a great leader, and that's a whole other story. But we're taking a plane ride from where we are to Oregon, and we are on Alaskan Air. So if Alaskan Air is listening to this, I want to talk to you guys. Our flight was delayed, and things get delayed, and yes, they can get delayed for lots of different reasons. So we get to our gate, we had been meandering and gotten some food, and we sit down, and we have no idea what is going on. I mean, it's the time on the prompt screen hasn't changed. It's past the time. I'm like, what's going on? You see people gathering around the podium, and we're like, we still have no idea. 45 minutes later, we still have no idea. And then finally, I go up and I ask, I'm like, why are they asking people to leave? It must be oversold. No, I finally worked my way up there and asked, and I said, so can you please tell me what's going on? And the woman says to me in a nice, curt, slightly rude tone, you haven't heard? The oxygen sensor isn't working properly, so we have to, we're asking 26 people to give up their seat. I'm like, no, I haven't heard. And I've been sitting here for over 45 minutes, so I haven't heard. So it was, what was going through my head this entire time was thinking, first of all, number one, Alaskan Air, there were 2 people that were working the desk to take 26 people and rebook them, because their policy is we can't get anybody on the plane unless we know who's not going to be on the plane, who's giving up their seat. So we have to wait until we've got all 26 people rebooked. 2 people doing 26 people and trying to figure this out, it took a long time. And all I kept thinking is these poor 2 people needed help. They didn't get any help. There were other people from Alaska and Air there. I'm like, I am sure somebody else could have gone to another desk and done some magic and helped some other people. And they should have just kept communicating, hey, people, and if you're waiting, this is what's going on. I mean, it should have been like a repeat, like on like every 15 minutes. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. We are trying to work the best we possibly can. But none of that happened. And all I kept thinking about is it starts at the top. Like leadership starts at the top. So the CEO, and there's standard operating procedures, but there has to be training on leadership and communication, and understand that most people are always going to be okay and not angry if they just know what is going on.
Definitely. If you tell a customer the truth, or someone that's waiting to fly, so like you, what's going on, it's more likely that you'll just relax and sit back and hope that they get it fixed, instead of wondering what they're really doing behind that weird wall that they're standing in front of, and not know
Right.
what's going on. Yes.
Right. And it's so it was, I mean, it was crazy. And I kept thinking, this is why, this is why I love doing what I do, because I love helping companies and businesses find their leadership voice and create their mission. And it dawned on me, like, I have no idea what Alaskan Airlines mission or charter is, other than, I'm hoping to get people from point A to point B safely. But service is so important, and it matters. And I totally feel like the airlines and so many other businesses have completely forgotten about service. And I'll share. I mean, it was, there was the other part of this is, my son and I so after this, we get really in late. My son's got to be going to this basketball tournament, so he's exhausted. We get to the airport finally, and we go to Hertz, and we're gold, and we go up to the board, and my name's not there.
Oh man.
Okay, so I mean, it was like but the comedy of errors is that, I mean, and there was a whole other scenario that happened with that company as well. But this is where we really need people to refocus and think about their companies, and think about, that service, and that's part of leadership, and lead by example, like, and communicate. It's always better to communicate more than less. And you end up with, you want people to leave with a smile on their face, even if they've had a bad situation.
Definitely. Now we already have a comment here. As long as the situation doesn't directly affect them, they don't care. It's a society's general lack of empathy these days. And I think this goes back to when 2020, March 2020, I can pinpoint it back to then, when the world locked down, or America locked down.
Oh, yes. March 14th.
Yes. When people stopped being able to talk to people, and just could hide behind that keyboard all the time and not actually interact with people, and they lost that social skill. So now, fast forward to 2024, you're going to get on an airplane, and there's a person behind that desk who really doesn't care about you, just wants to worry about likes they're getting on their Instagram, their Facebook, or whatever. And maybe you'll walk away because they don't want to hear you. It's not their problem that you're having a bad day because that flight's not working the way it is. They could do any little thing just to say, hey, Jaclyn, this is what's going on, and all you have to do, we'll keep you posted X amount of times every 15 minutes or whatever to let you know. But they won't do that. Today, me and the guy who made the comment, Jake, we went to Cracker Barrel for breakfast. We're on a road trip here for work, and we asked the waitress for separate tickets, and this caused a tidal wave of things, because his sister and her husband came as well, and they had ordered their food. They ordered coffee and milk, and then we asked for separate tickets because me and him had to go to work. And she walked away and never came back, ever. she disappeared completely because she got so flustered that we asked for separate tickets for each of us. She disappeared. Their eggs came. They never got their. They didn't get their milk. They got coffee. No toast. It was just insane what happened. Another waitress had to take care of us, and they never said what happened to her. She just never appeared again. We were just sitting there in shock for a while.
And so, so there's two things that come to my mind. First of all, you hope that there's something okay with her, because we
Yes.
obviously wanted to have empathy, and we really want to make sure that something bad didn't happen to her. And if something did, but then it's also the restaurant's responsibility to communicate to you, the customer, like, hey, you know what? Your server had a problem. We don't need to know the details, but Sally is going to take over, right? And it's still about, it's still about serving you, the customer. And there's so many things I was like, oh my God, and they need to have better training, because that is something, right? Like that is something everybody needs to know. I'm sure you are not the first, customers sitting down that have asked for two, separate checks.
Right. And it just threw her off completely. We looked at each other like maybe we said something wrong. Maybe we said it wrong. And
Right.
we were in shock, and then she disappeared. They never told us what happened. And just another waitress came out, a server, and helped us. I mean, she was great. She didn't give us an explanation. She just kind of took over and did the job. So
Yeah. And it's funny because there's so many things, like, yes. So the lockdown starts that weekend in March 14th. I remember that super clearly, because we were getting on an airplane again to go on a trip with the kids, and we decided we weren't going to cancel. We went. And then we, came back not having to wear a mask, and came home having to wear a mask. And it is amazing what has happened in that time, right? Like, where people have gone, the skills, what it's done to our kids, what it's done to the interaction and how people communicate. And, I share with my kids, and even with my clients all the time. I always say, this is a beautiful thing, our phones. They're really great things, but we need to actually use them for what they were meant to be. And that is to actually call people. That art of conversation. It's still, people will say, oh, I would much rather text. But you can't hear people's voices. And so much of interaction, it's not just the message that you type, it's the way the person says something. You can either hear the excitement in their voice, you can hear if somebody's not having a great day, and all of that matters. And what I love is, this is even like, this takes it to the next. I would do video calls with people all day long, because not only can I hear their voice, I get to see their faces, and you can see, so much happens, with our eyes and our mouth and the smile, but, we don't want to be hiding. We need to come out, and people need to learn the art of communication, right? It's storytelling. People say, oh, storytelling is, from a marketing standpoint, oh, we got to tell stories.
yes.
Well, guess what? You're not going to be able to know how to tell a story unless you open your mouth.
You got to learn how to talk in order to tell that story, and that's
Right.
that's what we lost. In my first book, 13-Step Guide to Success, I wrote that. I forget what step it is, but I said look up 3 inches, because everyone's looking down at their phone, and if you look up 3 inches, you can see a whole other world. Talk to someone, say hello, make their day, pet a dog, do something, make someone else happy, and make the day better for not just them, but for you as well, and you'll feel better as you clean up the world around you.
That is so true. It's to look up. So I'm going to go back. There was a book that was written like a long time ago, and the author is Jack Finney. I cannot think of the name of the book. But one of the things that he wrote in the book, and it was about people. It's a time travel book, but one of the things was he ended up going back in time. I'm going to say to like maybe the 40s, maybe the 30s. I actually can't remember. But what he did say in this book was the difference between the 30s and let's just say the 80s or the 90s was that when people got here in the 30s, they did look up, they smiled, they greeted people. People, were happy to be here. People were excited to learn English. They wanted to be part of this. And he said, and fast forward to the, in the present day where he was living, people were looking down. They weren't smiling. And he actually enjoyed the people in the earlier time because they looked up and they communicated and they had more purpose and connection and wanted to connect with others.
Right.
That
I looked them up, and there's too many books to list because he has a lot of them. I was gonna say Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I know that one, but it might be Time and Again. It might be that.
And it is Time and Again. I think it's Time and Again. I think that's it. Time and Again. And it's such a great book. I could not remember that. I think I probably even have read it twice. I just thought it was a great book, but that was like it's something that always sticks in my mind. Like, look up and smile and greet people. I mean, we teach that, and it's funny because you think back then probably it was just what they did, but now we have to teach it. But you're, in business, look 20 feet ahead of you and smile at the people that as you're coming across them. And, I mean, this was something that I remember I was part of a training that we trained people in. I worked for a part-time job one time, at a ski mountain. And we always said to everybody that was new coming in, greet people, look ahead, smile at people, say hello.
Be nice.
Oh, that too. Be nice. Hold the door. Don't smack, don't let it hold the door for people.
My brother chimed in. He's on part of my Tuesday crew as well. He said back then people also dressed up to do things. Now they wear pajamas. So that's 100% true. Just walking down the store now, it's heart-wrenching.
Right. And you sit there and you think, is it pride? Like, I think about going to the theater or even, anywhere you go, if you're going to be out in public, you don't see. I mean, I think of it as respect for yourself, and it is something else that I actually share with my clients is that no matter what, you only have 15 seconds to make a first impression, and I don't care what people say. Like, oh, that's not true. No, it is. We have 15 seconds to make an impression on the people that we're encountering. People will create an opinion. And if you're trying to have more success in life, people I'm sure have heard this before. You always dress and act the way you want, the level you want to go up to. So if you are, VP and you want to be the CEO, act like the CEO. What does that CEO look like? Put that in your mind and be that person already. But you also have to dress that way. I would guarantee you that most CEOs are not wearing their pajamas out to the grocery store or on an airplane or wherever you're going. I would pretty much guarantee you that they are not. So what's the impression that you want to give other people? And I always think at the end of the day, when you put your head down on your pillow and you were to give yourself a review, name the review site. Do you give yourself 1 star? Is it 2 stars? Is it 5 stars? And did you make it a better place? The people that you connected with, did you leave them a little better off? Maybe you left them with a smile. If you can do that, think about what it will do. I mean, think about again, the amazing museum. These men and women who have that star, what they've done. I mean, they have made a huge impact. Now, we don't all have that opportunity to be, maybe in those scenarios, but we can do it every single day. Can we give ourselves a star
Yes.
that we can be better people and help other people and make it a little bit better? And it's, and if you do that in your business, think about like your customers, your clients, the people that you connect with, maybe we'll just be a little better off.
Definitely. And when you give those stars, be honest to yourself.
Right.
Don't give yourself a 5. I give myself a 5-star every time I leave the self checkout at Walmart now, because it asks me how did I do, and I did great checking myself out, so it's a 5-star. But did I really do great shopping? I don't know. Maybe maybe I could do better. I could probably pick better products. I don't know, but be honest.
Right. But see, if we go back, it's like, honestly, these are the things that I wish that we didn't lose. Like I wish that we didn't have self-checkout. Yeah, maybe could be faster and sometimes whatever, particularly some companies when they give you those crazy ass receipts. I don't need to get those. But we miss that all around. We just keep missing the human connection.
Yes, 100%. We're losing it. We've lost it, I shall say.
Yeah.
We have a question from Sean at Sean on X. How do we instill a change in this pattern that is created now?
Oh, how do we instill change? It starts with you. If each and every one of us can do a little bit to change, right? Then, and share that with others. Almost like, oh, this is what if you want to use social media for something that's good, if we did something good today, let's share the good that we did. Let's share that with other people. And then we have to enlist other people. If we want to create change, maybe it starts with a circle of your friends that say, okay, you know what if we did, we're going to make sure that this week and starting this week, we're going to make sure that no matter what we do, we're always going to make sure that we speak to somebody. We're going to smile at people. And if we find ourselves getting to the point where we're getting angry for something, and it might not be anything really worth being angry about, let's take a moment to reflect before we act.
Definitely. Reflect is a key word there. A lot of people just react. They
Yep.
don't listen to hear, they listen to speak. So you say hello to me, I'm already thinking about a way to attack you instead of listening to how you say hello. Maybe the way you're saying hello tells me that you're not having a good day, and maybe I can react better to make you have a better day, or any kind of conversation to make. Just listen to what you say. Listen, so that we can actually have a conversation and maybe have a constructive conversation and successfully make it through the day.
Yeah. And I would agree. And I truly believe, and this is actually kind of, it's making me think about, again, being on social media. I think one of the hardest things is that people automatically jump on people or jump into what they're saying with negative connotations. And what if we just flip that switch instead of having to go negative? Maybe you and I have different beliefs, but instead of knocking me down, what if we said, oh, you know what, Rich, you've got a different belief than I do, but this is what I believe and why. Not like, oh God, you shouldn't believe that, you're a jerk, or blah, blah, whatever. I mean, it's everything. It goes to how we communicate. Again, this is like, sort of like full circle, but the words we say and how we communicate to others matters and has an impact on the world. And if we could all just pause before we comment somebody's post or spew something out, think about what we're saying.
Yes.
And think maybe I might be able to say that in a better way, more positive way, that's not going to make somebody feel less or not great or cause be this negative stuff.
Definitely. Yesterday, I was internet stalking you as getting ready for the show, of course. And on LinkedIn, you made a great post yesterday. Quick tips to become a badass leader. Number one, lead by example. Show, don't just tell. I love that. Number one, 100%. We love that. Coming from the military, that's what we were taught as a leader to do all the time. Two, be decisive. Make bold, informed decisions. Three, empower your team. Trust and uplift others. I believe as a leader, my job is to make the next me. Make the next me, not to worry about them taking over me. Make the next me, and then I'm successful. Stay adaptable, embrace change and challenges. And then what we were just talking about, communicate with clarity. Be clear, concise, and confident. Perfect. How did you come up with yesterday's tips? I guess the quick tips yesterday, was it because of the airplane or was it something else?
It's one of those things that it's what I believe, right? And I feel that it's just what I think about with leadership. And I guess it was the airplane ride, it was the Hertz thing, it was the communication at the university that we went to. And it kind of all came out because I kept thinking everything that I shared, it was things that didn't happen. And in some way or shape or form. And I really believe the part what you even just said is we need to lead and bring people up and make them, we have to not be afraid about people taking our jobs, because in actuality, a leader's role is to help bubble up other people so that you can bubble up. And the only way they can do that is someone's going to have to take your place. And Dale Carnegie said that, hire people that are smarter than you, not just because, it's going to make you look freaking great, but because you're going to learn from them and you can help those people take your place. We're leading people. I think one of the biggest or one of the worst words, in companies is the manager. Manager is, I'm managing people. No, we want to lead people. We want to teach people. We want to educate them. We want to help them move up. But you can't do any of that unless you, number one, know about the people on your team. You got to find out who they are. What do they want? And are they the right fit for your team? Maybe somebody is better off in a different position, but you don't know that, right? So people, so bubble people up and then make people feel appreciated and rewarded and feel respected. Most people don't leave a job or a career or a company that they're working for because of money.
Right.
Most people leave because they don't feel heard, they don't feel respected, they don't feel like it's the right fit. And so if you think about that, get to know your people and what they want. And do they fit? I talk about this, I think, till I'm blue in the face sometimes, and people are like, it's not that exciting. But know the company's mission, know your own mission, and where do you want to be in life? Where do you want to go? And the companies that you're working for, do you align with them? And does your leader at your company, or are you as a leader, do you know about the people that are in your charge? Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to lead them properly because you don't know what they want.
Right. 100%. We had a couple of comments in there. Lead from the front to be a good leader, and bad leaders is why most employees leave companies.
Yes.
That hurts the bottom line as well.
It does. I know this statistic it's for the United States, but people, unhappy employment or attrition, people who are leaving it's like don't quote me on the numbers. It was because I remember I've read it before. It's something like a trillion expense in the US. I mean, it's huge. And so you think that think about the bottom line. I mean, yes, we believe in capitalism and we believe in companies should be making money and people should be making money, but I also believe that wealth should be spread somewhat to more people, but that's a whole other story. But part of that is if you get to know your people and you interview and you bring people in that are aligned with the achievement code of the company, it's aligned with their achievement code, it's aligned with their mission, it's aligned with the company's mission, and you keep revisiting it. It's not like a one and done. You keep this up and you're making sure that you're all on the same track. You'll have happy people.
Yes.
But it's when you get out of alignment on that, that's where bad leadership, it's people start to, if you bring somebody in, the worst is the leader who's like, oh my God, that person who we've brought on is going to take my job. Yeah, they should make it happen. So then you can, it's not it's not a competition. It's a betterment. Like, let's help people be better. I mean, the only competition that's really out there is when you're in an athletic race and you're actually running against somebody or you're competing in that way. But in a company, you're part of a team. These are your partners.
And I think that's where the mindset has to change
Yeah.
to understand where you fit within that team and how to make that team better. And if you're all succeeding, you're all going to move up somewhere within that company or beyond. If you do great there, your boss is going to sell you to someone else. Say, look, this person's doing great. I don't have a slot for him at my level, but you do. Take him and make him better over there.
Right. And yes, and I think, and we also really need to give people chances. And I feel like sometimes that doesn't happen as often as it should. Not everybody, I shared this the other day. Nobody comes out of any womb a goat.
Right.
Not even a goat, right? So think about it. A goat comes out a kid, technically, verbiage, right? So what makes a goat? It's time, it's working towards it, it's growth, it's consistency. And so if we give people the chance and we can help train them and educate them, it's amazing things can happen. We just need to, if somebody has the drive and the will and the want, sometimes they just need a little bit of teaching and education to get there.
Definitely. And sometimes if they are scared or they show that they're not comfortable with something, push them to do it. Push them to
Right.
do it until they are comfortable. And that's when they'll see that you have faith in them, for one. And two, they'll see that they can do it because they'll get over that barrier that they set up for themselves that really wasn't there. And it'll create a better work experience for everybody.
Right. And that is something that I think it is so important. We need to push people out of their comfort zone, but also let people know that it's okay. If you make a sales call, for example, and you don't get the sale, okay. What's the learning from that? Okay. What do we learn so that we can try it again? But it's also giving people the encouragement to say, hey, guess what? You tried. Congratulations. Right? I mean, I think about, anybody who is in any of our armed forces. And if you have to, anything that you start, right? You've got a basic training camp, right? You've got something that you're going to because you have to learn certain skills. Not again, you could try something. And if you don't do it well the first time, you're going to have to keep on doing it and you will succeed. But again, it takes time and effort and
Definitely.
energy and encouragement. We one of my one of my clients, we were talking about it because she's, a lot of people don't like, again, using the telephone to make sales calls. And we create a script and we look at what they're saying and we reevaluate it so that I like to say every part of that propel or that performance part of our business, we have to do something called MMA, which is measure, monitor, and adjust. But it's the fighting part. Like when we think about MMA, we're fighting for our business. And that fighting part is we're always measuring and monitoring and adjusting so that we can learn. And we take our learning and then we get to do it again.
We have a question from X again. Elijah Craig 23. As a young leader, what are tips I can use to be better at my craft, and how do I keep my team pumped?
Oh, Elijah, this is a great question. So first of all, if you've got a team and you've got your craft, right? So I guess I'd be curious as to what your craft is. For you to get better at it, you have to look at what actions and activities you are doing every day and track it. Tracking is going to be important. So that's number one, track your activities so you can get better at your craft. The other key thing is if you don't have your vision and your mission statement written out, write it out. So if you're running a team, you need a vision and a mission statement also for your team and the values that matter to you. And to get your team pumped, you need to share that vision and mission with them every time you guys get together. So if you have a sales call on Monday morning, share it on Monday morning before you start every single time. It should get them pumped. It is the vision for your team and everybody in there, like what you see them doing. It's like the rallying cry, but part of it is it's you and them working together. So craft that vision and mission statement and share it with your team. And it will also help you be pumped. But also think about, again, to get better at anything, we always have to write down the activities that we're doing and measure the outcomes to see where we need to make improvements.
Definitely. 100%. My brother again makes a comment. He works in retail. He's a manager at Jiffy Lube.
Oh,
You also need to keep friendships out of the workplace. Work hard, listen, and learn. Learn, hate me if you have to. Then after work, you can go out and relax. So know when to turn it on and off.
right. True. And it's important to know the friendship part, right? Because it is really true. If you're the leader, there's a level of leader respect, and you want to know the people and you want to connect with them. But the people that you're leading, they may be really close to you, but they're not necessarily, I mean, unless you're the business partners, they may not be your bestie, right? There's a level of respect that has to happen with that. And it's like parenting, right? As a parent, we are not our kids' best friends.
Right.
We have to lead them and we have to we have to know when to say no and for lack of a better word, like there's a level of respect. At some point, there is a transition, when when your kid moves out of the house, there is a level of when that can move and they really do become your friends. But no matter what, you were always the parent. You're always guiding and leading, and you never give up that role. I mean, my daughter and I are really close, and I would say that we are really good friends. And she might look at me sometimes and say, my mom's my best friend. And I could say my daughter's my best friend, but there's still that mother-daughter relationship that I'm still guiding.
Yes. And a lot of the younger generation parents, I think they lost that. They could blame COVID, they could blame whatever. I blame a tablet, I blame a computer or laptop as being a babysitter. And they lost control when they did that as the babysitter and became their friend. Oh yeah, you can go to this website, you can do this, you can do whatever you want, and the kid learns that instead of learning to see what mom and dad are doing all the time. So they become that in that friend zone, and it's horrible. As they grow older, they become more, I guess, militant towards their parents, and
Right.
it's not pretty.
So one of the big things, and um, was asking about like how to also pump up your team. The other thing to also think about, and this is also working with your team, boundaries have to be set. So whether it's in parenting or teamwork, we have to have boundaries, and we have to be able to give people the ability to try something on their own, right? So, I'll give an example of a boundary, which a lot of times somebody may come to me, oh, can you help me, figure out how to use the copier, right? And you could say, okay, well, I'm going to show you this once, but you should be able to learn it, right? So you could show once and teach them how to do it and make them and have them go through the steps instead of just doing it for them, right? And then the next time they come to you and ask you, hey, I still can't, work the copier. Then you can say, okay, you know what? I showed this to you. I really want you to try to really figure it out and work. If after 20 minutes you still can't get it, then let's come back, right?
Yep.
So give people the ability to try, show them, teach them, don't do it for them. But we need to set up boundaries too, so that, kids need boundaries. In companies, we need boundaries to get our work done. And we need to have certain boundaries for, because we can't just be doing it for everybody. We can't be doing the work for everybody.
Exactly. Jaclyn, we've talked a lot about a lot of leadership really, really quick in 50. I can't believe it's 50 minutes already, but that was really fast. What are your top 3 things you think any leader needs to do every day in order to keep that focus of their employees and to show them that they are valued as they go through life?
Number 1 is be respectful and think of the people that you are leading as partners, and share your vision and mission often, and know the people on your team and their missions so that you can help lead them for them to achieve what they want to achieve. Because when they achieve what they want, you will also achieve what you want as well.
That was quick, and you hit the home run again, once again. Much better than last year. So there you go. Good job.
Leading is hard and difficult, but it's also, we just have to look at people from the standpoint, I love the acronym of TEAM, right? TEAM stands for Together Everyone Achieves More. And if that is something that you can live by, together we can achieve more.
Definitely. And I think if everyone starts to adapt that, we'll all be doing much better in everything we do in life, not just at work. It could be getting your community better, could get your neighborhood better. As a team, you can do that and make everything work much better.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm crossing my fingers that everybody does that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I try. I try to cross my fingers and burn some
My
tape.
code.
What's the best way to get in contact with you for anyone who wants to maybe have you as a coach, or just pick your brain like I did tonight on the MisFitNation?
The best place is my website. Go to leaptoyoursuccess.com. It's just the whole thing all together. So leaptoyoursuccess.com. And I actually have there is a complimentary journal. There should be there's a way to follow me on all of the socials. So I highly recommend people going there. If you are, if you prefer social media, I am on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. Follow me on YouTube. I pretty much try to go live a couple times a week. So follow me on YouTube. But honestly, go to leaptoyoursuccess.com and actually grab the journal and then grab a complimentary time with me because I do offer everybody a free complimentary fast track strategy session.
Awesome. Thank you, Jaclyn, for taking some of your time tonight. And thank you again for adjusting your schedule because I know we had to reschedule in the past. And
no, thank you.
I tried to make sure I communicated correctly with you that night.
It was great.
I think I did well. You didn't shoot me or nothing, so it's good. So awesome. This has been great chatting with you. I hope you have a great rest of your night and an awesome rest of your year.
All right. Thank you. You too. And thank you so much for having me as a guest, Rich. I really appreciate it.
You have a good night.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Did you serve in the military? If so, you can obtain a free lifetime pass to more than 2,000 federal recreation sites. These sites are located across more than 400 million acres of public lands, including national parks, wildlife refuges, and forests. The lands host activities to fit any lifestyle: hiking, biking, fishing, camping, and much more. Gold Star families are also eligible for these free lifetime passes. Plus, they cover entrance fees for a driver and
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling because we are
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.